What's the connection between gender analysis and theories of change? Continue watching. Before I tell you about the connection, let's define what we mean by theory of change and also what we mean by gender analysis. This is to ensure that we're on the same page. So, what is a theory of change? A theory of change is a comprehensive framework that outlines how and why a desired change is expected to happen in a particular context. It maps out the steps needed to achieve long term goals, starting with the initial conditions and interventions and moving through intermediate outcomes to the final impact. And now, what is agenda analysis? Agenda analysis is a systematic approach to understanding the differences in the lives of women, men, and gender diverse individuals. It examines the roles, needs, opportunities, and power dynamics between genders to uncover inequalities and inform more equitable policies and programs. Here comes the connection now between the theory of change and the gender analysis. Why would you embed gender analysis in theories of change? Well, development programs affect men, women, boys, and girls differently. Ignoring gender can undermine program effectiveness and even perpetuate inequalities. Integrating gender analysis ensures that your theory of change addresses gender inequalities and promote equitable outcomes. Hopefully, you are sold on the idea of embedding gender analysis in your theory of change. Now, how do you do this practically? There are several steps. And the first step is to have a gender analysis in your situation, or your context analysis when you're starting to design the theory of change. In this stage, you would disaggregate all data by sex, age, and any other relevant factors from your context analysis. You also examine the gender norms, roles, relations, and inequalities. Also analyze who has access to and control over resources and decision making. For example, a food security program found women had less access to land, credit, and extension services than men. The second step in embedding a gender analysis to your theory of change is to bring a gender lens in your problem analysis. When developing theories of change, usually you have a problem tree analysis to identify what the issues are. This is where you bring the gender lens. You consider gender specific constraints, risk, and opportunities. Determine if certain problems disproportionately affect one gender, and also explore how gender dynamics contribute to or result from problems. Let's take a practical example. Say the problem is child malnutrition. Looking from it with a gender lens, it is seen that child malnutrition was linked to women's heavy workloads and lack of decision making power in households. Step three of embedding gender in your theory of change is engaging diverse stakeholders. Not only do you disaggregate all data by sex, age, and other relevant factors, but also ensure that women and gender diverse individuals are actively involved in the theory of change development process. For example, include women's organizations and advocacy groups in all your stakeholder meetings. Step four is challenging your gender assumptions. Identify and challenge gender based assumptions that may affect the success of your theory of change. Use tools like gender sensitive checklists to review assumptions. For example, question assumptions such as women are not interested in leadership roles and validate with data. Step 5 is bringing the gender lens to all levels of the theories of change, irrespective of whether your project is on something that's unrelated to gender. Say you have a water and sanitation project, still bring the gender lens. Formulate a gender responsive goal, gender responsive outcomes and outputs, and identify gender specific interventions to tackle inequalities. For example, have strategies that include supporting women's groups, gender training for your staff and partners, and childcare for participants. Step 6 is also very important, and this is having a gender responsive monitoring and evaluation system. This includes designing indicators to track gender results and having disaggregation. Assess gender sensitivity of your data sources and your data collection methods, and also involve male and female stakeholders in the monitoring and evaluation processes. For example, include indicators on increase in women's control over household income, participation rates, all disaggregated by sex. This is just an example. If you are interested in learning more about gender analysis and theories of change, join the Monitoring and Evaluation Academy.